All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to game number 2 between Kiwikaki and Stephano from IPL3 Atlantic City. Once again, I want to urge you guys to go ahead and check out IPL3. They're a great company, great organization, able to put on these live events. They're at www.ign.com/IPL. Their social media can be found at Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Justin TV at IGN Pro League. So make sure you guys go check it out and support them. I usually broadcast at 5 p.m. every other day or so on the weekdays with Pain User or Cat's Pajamas, and we do some awesome live commentary of StarCraft 2 games from the qualifiers, or even sometimes Pain User and I will just be playing some ladder games. In fact, last Sunday, last Sunday, that's what I'm saying. Last Sunday, we broadcasted a very interesting ladder session between Pain User and I, and I'm thinking I might rebroadcast it on my YouTube channel because we had a pretty epic game where I was playing and Pain User was coaching me, and I thought it was really funny. So I might just fraps it off their Justin TV channel and bring it to you guys because it was really, really damn good. But if you guys get a chance, go check out some of their VODs on Justin TV. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is game 2. We already had a interesting game 1. I think Stephano was very aggressive that game, and it certainly played out very well, didn't it? Playing against Kiwikaki, I don't think he expected that much aggression on his third, but Stephano just brought it. He brought it. He brought the kitchen sink, the roof, the fire, everything. I mean, the Hydras and Roaches just kind of steamrolling the front. In fact, it was mostly just Hydras. And Kiwikaki just, held barely the first time. The second time, I think combining that Zergling aggression into the natural and the main, I don't think Kiwikaki was able to kind of put up with the double front pressure. So, good game, good start to this series. Once again, this is from the championship bracket. So if you lose here, you were out of the tournament, and the tournament had a $100,000 prize pool. I think this is the round of 32. So you really don't want to lose. Once you lose, you're out. You're just going to be sitting in the crowd watching the games, wishing, wondering why I'm not up there. Why did I lose that game? So the pressure's on Kiwikaki now to perform. Certainly his team wanting him to win as well. Team Rain, who I'm pretty familiar with. The interesting tidbit right here. Rain's starting a pro gaming house, and it's actually located about 5 blocks from my house. So I can literally walk out of my house and go to their house whenever I want. They have Rain Spades, Rain Kiwikaki, Rain Artist. Artist actually living at the house along with Spades. Frank, who is their manager. Pretty interesting stuff anyways. But they're the second only pro gaming house in North America. The first one, of course, being Team EG, Team Evil Geniuses in Arizona. So it's kind of cool that North America is starting to now incorporate pro gaming houses, whereas before that was really just a Korean thing. And I think it's pretty good too, because that's the only way you're really only going to get better, by playing against really good players in the same house, being able to discuss strategies and play against the best of the best every single day. When you make it your job, your career, you're gonna be the best. So yeah, just an interesting little tidbit right there. Stephano, of course, coming out from France. I'm not sure if Millennium has a pro gaming house or not. I know there's some controversy revolving around Stephano and Millennium for some time, but I'm not going to delve into that. Anyways, we do have a Probe and Zergling kind of giving each other a bit of a foot chase here. Stephano just, doing a good job of scouting out the map and exploring for that Probe. He may be eventually be able to track it down. Depends on Kiwikaki's micro and how attentive he is to that Probe. But it's very important right now to note that Kiwikaki is going for that double gateway opening once again. And that's pretty important to note, because last game Stephano lost his third hatchery to that double gateway opening. So, you hope that Stephano this time will be prepared for that, especially since he scouted the 2 gateways at the front door. This is really Kiwikaki's go-to. He loves opening with a double gateway pressure with 6 or so zealots. They make their way across their map. Their sole mission in life is to kill off a hatchery, do damage, and then die. I mean, Kiwikaki knows those 6 zealots are not making it out of anywhere alive. So, yeah, that's going to be the first blood that will be spilled this game, and we'll have to see on whose turf. Will they be able to get the hatchery as well? Is a very important thing to note. Now, it looks like Kiwikaki is going to go ahead and bust down the door to the rocks first, so he wants to gear up the third. Zergling makes its way in here, though, so Stephano with a very good scout. Knows about the zealots, knows about the double gateway opening, but this time knows they're going to be a little bit more delayed, because Kiwikaki has, trained those zealots on the rocks leading to the third. So Stephano's going to have a little bit more time here to get his resources out before he needs to produce the units he needs to defend against those zealots. And there we can see now 4 Zealots working down those rocks leading to the third. Kiwikaki, of course, a very macro-oriented player. We do have a Roach Horn coming down this time from Stephano, so it's quite possible he's going to try to get Roaches out to defend this as well. He already has some Zerglings making their way across the map. And interesting to note here, wow, Stephano, kind of an intelligent move here, realizing that those rocks to the third were going down. Kiwikaki obviously gearing up for the third, so hey, if I can break down these rocks, then I can have an access path into that third and I can destroy that Nexus. So he is trying to bust down these rocks right now. Although, it looks like he stopped for a moment there. So the Zealots have made their way across the map. And now Kiwikaki... oh, wow, Stephano just running a couple of Zerglings through the path that was destroyed by Kiwikaki's Zealots. And so he's going to deny that Nexus, it looks like. Very, very smart move right here. But now, does he have enough Zerglings to defend against 8 Zealots? That is 8 Zealots, not 6. So that's a little bit more than you might imagine. Wow. It looks like Kiwikaki will lose his Nexus here, but at the same time, he may be able to also strike down the hatchery. Now, the cancel was made at the very last second. Can't say the same for this hatchery, though. So, Kiwikaki investing 800 minerals into 8 Zealots. He will strike down that hatchery with ease. Good moves right here from Kiwikaki, but he will also lose some probes here. So very, very well-timed counterattack from both these players. And it's really going to come down to who comes out ahead in terms of harvesters. Stephano training his Zerglings on that last probe, gets the kill on that probe as well. So good moves right there. Now, this is a little bit unlike the first game. In the first game, Stephano lost his hatchery, but he wasn't really able to do anything of it. He made a bunch of Zerglings. He was stuck in the middle of the map. On this map, on this second game, Stephano, yeah, he lost the third hatchery, but he also denied the third Nexus. So when it comes down to it, it's a pretty even matchup right now. Neither player really ahead. So really, it was a good trade by both players, and it was very intelligent, really, by Stephano to just realize, hey, the rocks are busted down. If I'm going to lose my third hatchery, I'm going to take down that Nexus as well. And in fact, he's coming in once again. Wow. He's going to come in with those Zerglings for another run by. He's actually tucked inside the corner right now. I don't know if Kiwikaki noticed that or not. He's just now preparing to warp in a bunch of warp gates. So he's got 6 warp gates with +1 weapons on the way. But does he realize about those Zerglings? No, he does not. In fact, the Zerglings are having a bit of a rave dance party right now at that third Nexus, which hasn't quite gone up yet. Now the Zealots and Sentries are making their way over there, and the Nexus will be morphed in as the Zerglings kind of make a retreat, and they are going to full-on run away. So I guess I guess Stephano just ran in there just to get a timing and a sense as to when that third Nexus was going to come up. Interesting. We do also have a Warp Prism on the way. A million Roaches just kind of planted themselves on the battlefield and destroyed those rocks. I didn't even know that, I didn't even realize that Stephano was making that many Roaches, but now he's got a formidable Roach Zergling army, and just against Zealots and Sentries, Stephano is going to definitely be able to destroy that. So Kiwikaki can't really move out and make any pressure happen unless he uses his Warp Prism. Pretty well. Oh man, we do have a push here though. Stephano coming in with a lot of Roaches. Force fields keeping the Roaches out of the way, but now the Forge is under attack, and the Forge researching +1 armor. That will go down instantly. And now really, Stephano can just pull out. He doesn't need to charge in anymore. He could just run away. He doesn't need to invest because he already destroyed a Forge that was researching +1 armor, and that's a huge, huge upgrade to kind of lose at this point in the game. So Kiwikaki finding himself a little bit on the back foot. Now the rocks are being destroyed once again leading up to the third, and that means that Kiwikaki will have to bring his entire army back around, but Stephano isn't going to commit to that one either. So Stephano just playing head games with the Protoss player right now, kind of poking and prodding at the front, destroys a Forge, poking and prodding at the back door. So he's going to force the entire army to come back, and now Kiwikaki finally bringing out the Warp Prism. But it looks like he totally forgot about morphing in some units. I'm going to go ahead and change the color to red and blue here because it's kind of hard to see yellow on pink, as Stephano, really the pink Power Ranger. He loves his color pink for whatever reason. But yeah, the red and blue is now going to be in effect. That Warp Prism has kind of deployed itself, or at least hidden itself on the ridge behind the 5th expansion. But one thing that's certainly going well for Stephano right here is the fact that he's expanding at will, really. If Kiwikaki isn't going to push out and apply any pressure, and I know he's trying to do it right now with this Warp Prism, but if he's not able to do any damage, then Stephano's going to be able to expand just at will. And right now he's at 5 hatcheries plus the gold. including the gold. So, you know, Kiwikaki, yeah, he's got 3 bases, but he's eventually, I think he's going to have to make something happen. Even though he has 3 bases, and really a Protoss player on 3 bases is quite comfortable, but still, this is Stephano we're talking about here, so hopefully he does something pretty soon. That War Prism is just kind of deployed right now, not doing quite anything at all. A couple of hallucinated Phoenix making their way across the map just to get a timing, I would imagine, on a possible Spire or Hive. We do have 10 or so Corruptors joining the field. Great timing on the Corruptors as Colossus are now starting to hit the field as well. And, you know, Kiwikaki, last game, he just didn't get any Colossi at all, and I think that's the reason for his downfall. If you don't have those massive units kind of lasering the Hydras apart, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You can't depend entirely on Void Rays and your ground army. So he's getting Colossus, but Stephano himself has got some Corruptors now. And I don't know why he's burning those Hydras. Is he preparing for an ambush or something? But he's got quite a few Corruptors joining the field now. They are going to find that Warp Prism and destroys the Warp Prism as the Zealots were warping in. I believe those were Zealots warping in the field. Cancels all the Zealots. Now the Protoss player does recuperate his resources for that. And Kiwikaki, a little bit mad about that, it looks like. He's pushing into the middle of the field, but he's got to be careful. That's a lot of creep he's got to work through first. Now a lot of Roaches and Hydras also giving chase. A bunch of barfing vomit from the Corruptors onto the Colossi, and that Colossi goes down instantly. And a big engagement possibly going to go down right here. Stephano once again being very aggressive, trying to punch his way through the front door. Will he be able to do it though? There's another Colossus that just joined the field, but that's so many Corruptors. The Corruptors will be able to destroy that Colossus almost instantly once again. And now it's just going to come down to the Hydras. I think Stephano may have invested a little bit too much in his Corruptors because his ground army is suffering as a result. And just purely Hydras, I don't think he's going to be able to break through this many Stalkers and Immortals. And no, he will not. In fact, he ends up burrowing underground because there's no Warp Prism there for whatever reason. And so Stephano goes down under. Hides his Roaches and Hydras underneath the battlefield, and there's no Observer coming out right now as the robotics facilities are 100% working on Colossus production. So we have some Roaches and Hydras that have somehow, someway managed to burrow themselves underground. And oh, you got, what is Stephano doing? He's just letting his Corruptors die here. Okay, he may be clearing up some supply, it looks like, as he's already maxed. And he realized, you know, I don't need this many Corruptors. I don't have my Hive yet, out quite yet. He's going to push in the middle of the field, unburrows his Roaches, springs the trap, but not really much of a trap as he didn't have that many units underground now. He has just barely enough Corruptors, I think, to deal with those Colossus, so good unit management here from Stephano, just getting the right amount of Corruptors, and once again trading with that Protoss army. He is going to, oh man, it's going to be very close. Kiwikaki's got to hold this position as he's got his Nexus at the gold up right now. He cannot allow his gold Nexus to go down, and it looks like he is going to make that hold happen. Or is he? Those 3 Hydras pounding away on that Nexus. They did not get any probe kills, though, as I'm checking their Hydra kill count. And that Nexus is going to stay alive. Meanwhile, a lot of Corruptors going down in the middle of the battlefield, so just back and forth action from both these players. Look at that Nexus. It actually dropped down to 400 HP and lost all of its shield, so it almost went down to a band of 3 Hydras. Literally, just a triad of Hydras nearly took it out. But Kiwikaki was able to make that hold happen. So just back and forth trading from both these players. One thing that certainly goes well for the Zerg and bodes well for the Zerg in that regard is the fact that you're trading with the Protoss and never letting him max out. And that may be why Stephano is continuing to assault here. He just wants to pick off those Colossus. That's the key of this battle here. That is the key goal. Even if he loses everything on the ground, if he can pick off all those Colossus, it may be worth it, but he will not be able to get that last Colossus, and he's got to retreat on the ground. Wow. Stephano, his aggression right there may have backfired. Now Kiwikaki getting the go-ahead 5th Nexus. And now things are getting a little dicey. Even with Stephano on 5 bases, the Protoss player is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 himself. So that is a bit of a tricky situation. And Stephano is obviously going to need to get his 6th hatchery up, and that's why he's starting to work down the rocks to the back door right now. But this game now 20 minutes in, and both players have a maxed out army, or at least Stephano has a maxed out army. I guess Kiwikaki's still a little bit further away from maxing out, but he's pretty close. But certainly a very interesting game, and look at this, we have a fleet beacon on the way right now, and Kiwikaki is one of those players that is known for mothership use. He was the one who was trying to pioneer motherships and really bring it to the forefront of Protoss play, and he's just so talented with the mothership, and this is what he'll do in the late game. Speaking of late game, action. We have some roaches trying to run around the cannons. They go right through the cannons and find themselves in the back where they're protected. Now, Stephano needs to get those roaches grouped up and hidden behind the mineral line. In fact, he's using this as a diversion tactic to get his main army into the Protoss ball. He is attacking with his main army right now, but that's 6 Colossus in the back. 6 Colossi, instant laser death to those roaches. And Stephano now has to retreat at the same time burrowing his roaches underground, prompting Kiwikaki to morph in some cannons. Wow, this game is getting pretty intense, guys. We do now have a mothership on the way from that Nexus, and one thing that Kiwikaki is very talented about when it comes to mothership use is he doesn't really incorporate the mothership into his main army. What he's more known for is actually attacking and doing damage, sniping hatcheries, sniping key buildings, and using the mothership to recall that army back home. So keep your eye on the lookout for that. We also have a Dark Shrine on the way in the production tab. These roaches kind of just researching burrow movement right then and there. That was clutch, because if they didn't have movement, they would have died. But they just got movement and they went down south away from the cannon detection range. But keep your eye on the Dark Shrine. There's also Vengeful Sacks on the way as well, so we may have some drop action from the Zerg pretty soon here. Entirely Roach Corruptor army here for Stephano. He's moving in. Now that's a lot of Corruptors. That will certainly be enough to take out these Colossi. Speaking about the Colossi going down, look at those roaches. Oh my god, those roaches are getting burned to a crisp. But that's okay. That's okay for Stephano as long as he picks off every Colossus, and that's exactly what he does. He picks off every single Colossus, and now he transitions the rest of his empty supply into Infestors, and he's got 10 Infestors coming out, so he's going to have a very bold army of not only Corruptors, but also Infestors, and I would imagine pretty soon Broodlords here, as he's getting his Hive on the way. So that's a pretty late Hive. But, you know, better late than never. And the mothership now has come into full view, or full invisibility, I guess you should say, because it does cloak all the buildings around it. But there are some stalkers blinking in, actually. This is pretty risky. Kiwikaki committing to taking out this macro hatchery. A lot of Lings and Infestors already here, though, and those stalkers getting eaten apart, but they do blink down, as the blink cooldown was just finishing up for a macro hatchery. So I don't know if that was worth it or not. But Kiwikaki does kind of get in there and do some damage here or there. He's actually got a higher supply count than Stephano right now, but I think the major reason for that is because Stephano right now is kind of saving up a little bit of supply overhead because he wants to make Broodlords. And so he's kind of rushing that Hive right now. 3 Dark Templar are now making their way on the field. This is something pretty deadly that Protoss players can do, and he's hoping to get some damage done here, but, you know, Stephano already has a Spore Spine Grid, and with 3 Crawlers there, I don't think those Dark Templar will be able to destroy anything as they go down. Wow, this game is actually getting pretty epic, ladies and gentlemen, because all players now are mining a base each. In fact, they've cut the map across from the diagonal line from the bottom left to the top right, each player kind of owning a massive field of resources and units. Now, Stephano trying to kind of penetrate that field with the Overlord and 4 roaches, and he's going to go ahead and drop 3 roaches off here. I don't see these roaches doing much. Maybe a pylon kill, but not even a pylon kill. No, they're going to burrow underground, so he's going to try to be annoying with those roaches. But an observer is there, or at least a cannon is. The cannon at the natural detecting those roaches. So, Stephano not able to do much damage with his drops, and this is kind of getting down to a stalemate situation now. 26 minutes in, neither player really able to penetrate the other side. Both players, at least the Zerg player, has a massive field in the middle of just creep spread, and that's great for him. But it looks like Kiwikaki here is going to just walk right in now. His Colossus can walk over the cliff, the Stalkers can blink in, and he is going to be able to destroy this hatchery instantly. Look at how much damage that hatchery takes. That hatchery is going to go down almost certainly, and there it goes. So a great snipe right there, but it looks like Stephano trying to intercept the Stalkers and the Colossi. A massive fungal growth goes down, everything locked in place, but the mothership recalls everything out of the way. That is what I'm talking about, guys. Kiwikaki is very, very well versed in mothership use in the late game, and honestly, he didn't lose anything there. He went in, he sniped off a core hatchery. That was one of the hatcheries that will be essential for Stephano to have in the late game, and he sniped it off with really just a massive target fire with Stalkers and Colossi. He pulled out,